Hi, and welcome to
Let's Talk.
My name is Stacy,
I'm Keisha.
and we are the hosts of Let's Talk. So how did Let's Talk come about, Keisha?
Well, through a conversation with some girlfriends that we were on a Zoom with, we were having a girlfriend Zoom, and we started talking about dating and marriage and the likes. And so one of the girls shared that it was just very difficult in the dating field right now. Now, let me be honest. I'm 14 years into marriage, so I have been off the market for quite some time. Stacey, you on the market?
No, ma'am, not on the market, not looking. Almost 7 years in.
All right. So that's our letting you know that we have been out of the game for some time. However, we do have some opinions and some theories, and obviously we married, so we got some men.
Now, Let's Talk isn't only about singledom and, people can't find men and all this other stuff. We're talking about love, life, and the likes. So basically that can mean a number of things. We can talk about children, we could talk about finances, we could talk about lifestyle, we could talk about personal growth, mental health. For the most part, we are pretty much well-rounded in a lot of different topics.
Okay, so let's talk about some of those topics.
Okay.
So we have been privileged to be on some panels talking about, again, love, life, and the likes.
Yeah.
There could be relationship, it could be children. We have the privilege of doing that. Career and lifestyles. We have also mentored individuals, whether they are married and or single, about life in general and not just relationships. So we don't want you to come on thinking that all we will discuss is relationships. We may talk about our children. Like Stacey said, we may have a day where we talk about hair. Just different topics of life, right?
Right.
And so we know that lots of people are in tune for relationship drama, so we will have some of that. We will be discussing marriage. We will be discussing maybe divorce. We will be discussing just life in general of functioning as a woman.
And we want to reach out to everyone. So this isn't a male bashing video or what do we call this? Male bashing compilation or whatever. I don't know the word right now, but it'll come to me. We're definitely pro-woman, pro-black women. Obviously, we are people of black heritage. But we just want to be able to share what's on our hearts. If you have any suggestions, any topic suggestions, please leave it down below in the comment section. We would definitely like to hear what you are interested for us to talk about. But in general, we're just here to talk. That's where Let's Talk means.
I'm excited.
So let's talk a little bit more about what that Zoom conversation was like.
Okay, so on the Zoom conversation, we were talking about dating. And so one of the girls mentioned how it was just very difficult out here in the dating world.
Yeah.
I was like, really? Like, it's really that hard? She's like, yes. Like, you don't know because you've been out the game for a minute. I'm like, you're right. And so she started to explain how, she had been on a dating app, and some other ladies was like, yeah, I did the dating app as well. And I'm like, a little too new school for me.
Right.
I have never been on the dating apps. I'm like, well, how does this dating app work? Like, what do you do? How do you get to know these people? And so she just shared her experience with dating, and she started to mention, she had a relationship coach. And I'm like, a what? And she's like, a relationship coach. Now, Stacey, again, been out the game for a minute.
I was gonna say, is that such a thing? Wow.
I'm like, what's a relationship coach? And so she's like, you see what you're doing right now? And I'm like, what am I doing? She's like, the conversation you're having with me, the suggestions you're giving me, the questions you're asking me, that's what my coach does.
Wow.
And I'm like, girl, get out of here. She's like, yes. And so I said, that's interesting. I was like, I do this all the time for people. I never thought of it to be a relationship coach. And she's like, yeah, that's what we call it. And so from there, our discussion just took off, and we talked about what it was like and for her dating right now, what it was like for her being a successful young Black woman dating, what it was like for her to be a woman with no kids dating. And we kind of just had that dialogue, and it was a great time. We had a great experience, and I related it back to several other of the panels that we've sat on, Stacey, and those same conversations come up, and it seemed like people just like to hear what we had to say.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that. I think what we have to say is valid. I think, we're pretty open-minded, although we're not necessarily, in this new age of dating, but, we're still open-minded with things. We are Christian as what's our foundational beliefs. However, we understand that people are in
life happens.
Yeah, life happens. People in the world, and things happen, temptations happen. We all make poor decisions, poor mistakes, but we're really here to empower individuals, whether it's men, women, we want adults, obviously, but we want to empower you all to be able to live your best life. And what does that mean, for you? Making better decisions when it comes to relationships, when it comes to your lifestyle choices, when it comes to, other people that you involve yourself with. So that's our whole point. That's why we want to talk. We want to talk to you all. And we hope that you have a listening ear, an open-minded ear, so you can hear what we have to say.
Right. And so we said, let's talk, because we can talk, like she said, about different topics. So this week, Let's Talk is about introducing ourselves to you. So let's talk about Stacey and Keisha. Next week, let's talk about our children.
Right.
So Let's Talk is just our name that leads us into whatever we're coming into for that next talking discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. So what some advice would you give someone who may be in this young lady's position? What did you tell her?
My first question was to ask her, where were you going to meet individuals? Because a lot of times as working women, we are constantly working, we're not going out, and so we're not in position to meet someone that we may have chemistry with, that we may have a connection with, that we may have same interests in, right? And so we're limiting ourselves only in our workplace and
church.
Yeah,
people who's heavily involved in their church, sometimes you are only doing church activities, seeing the same people, and not expanding your horizons, and not to necessarily say just go get the first sinner, walking out there in the street. However, sometimes you have to be able to be more open to other individuals.
Exactly. Because in church, you're seeing, like you said, you're seeing the same people.
Yeah.
And then there's usually less men.
Yeah.
In church.
Yeah.
So now we all gathered around this one little dude.
Yeah. And it may be an age difference. You may not necessarily be into younger or older people. It may be people who are maybe divorced already. They already have experience. They may have children. They may have a wife in church. It's a whole bunch of different factors that could play, but the men are extremely scarce in church.
And so what we want to say is just open up the area in which you are looking for possible mates, right? Let's look outside. Let's start taking ourselves out, because when we are constantly in the same mode of work, home, maybe one or two times we go out with some girlfriends, right? We're not in position to meet someone. And so I guess that's where online dating comes in. I am not the expert at online dating because I have not done it. I, to be truthful, have never even been on the platform, so I don't know what
the swipe left or right. I don't know.
I asked someone, I'm like, so when you swipe, like, do you double tap when you like? Like, what's the format?
Depending on which way you go, you can either accept or you can decline the person's
But is
request.
he swiping too?
I can't tell you that. I can't help you
so,
on that. So,
like, are you swiping and he's swiping, and then y'all like, oh, I like each other. Now we get the connection. I'm not sure. But ultimately, we want to take ourselves out of our comfort zone so that we're able to meet someone. Now, Stacey, what would be another suggestion that you give to people when they're looking, to meet someone?
I would say in the spirit of apps and, you know, I would say maybe even social media, that's how my husband found me. We had known each other in high school, left and separated, lost contact for a decade, and he went to social media to look for me.
Come on now.
So,
He know he wanted.
although we had known of each other, let me say that because I didn't really know him that well at 18 years old, he still remembered me and he knew where to find me. And so he found me through social media, and that's how he, you know, started, we started talking again. And eventually, you know, what they said, the story,
That's
whatever.
it, yeah.
Yeah, whatever the story is.
So goes the story.
There you go. We'll take that. So goes the story.
But coincidentally, my husband and I went to high school together as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in high school, we didn't date. We weren't in the same social circle. I saw him before. He claims he didn't see me, but
I couldn't
he's
miss it,
checking.
right?
So we graduated the same year, and we happened to meet each other at a job. And so
That's a
kinda
great
was
place.
like, right.
Mhm.
And so we were talking and connecting, and not 14 years, 16, 17 years later, here we are.
Right.
You know? So there is a possibility. My next advice would be sometimes you have to move outside of what you think you want.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all
yeah.
have this, oh, I think I want this and that and the third, and it's probably not what even you necessarily need in your life, right? And, you know, so start being open to dating outside of what the parameters of what you have set for yourself. Oh,
Right.
you need to be light skin, light eyes, curly hair, like that may not
Right.
be it, sis.
And dark skin is in, okay? Dark skin is in.
I have a chocolate.
Me too. And I love it.
Thank you. So we want to open ourselves up to meeting new people outside of the what our expectations were, what the standard we set. And I'm not telling you by no means that you need to go get someone that, you know, you got to like pick up by their bootstraps and help them get to where they need to. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
But what I'm also saying is we need to sometimes step outside of the physical realm of what we've set in our mind, because that may not be it.
I have another one. Sometimes we just need to ask, you know, if you have a girlfriend who's married to a decent guy, hey, does he have a brother? Does he have any friends who's looking for someone? And it's not necessarily saying that you're desperate or that you're going looking for a man, because I know in the Christian realm, they said a man who finds a wife finds a good thing, but maybe this person can talk to their brother, talk to their sister, especially,
That's true.
and they know their relatives or their friends to be who they are,
Yes.
the real them. So they can suggest maybe to the friend or whatever, hey, I know a decent young lady who's, you know, may be a good match for you. And that can, you know, help you to be able to find someone. So it never hurts to ask,
That's
you know,
true.
if they have any friends or relatives who may be like-minded, who may be, you know, hard workers, if you believe in a certain faith, you know, and you want to continue that, you know, do they participate in the same activities as you do? Ask. It doesn't hurt.
I have one. Be open to when someone is trying to connect you with another person.
True.
Because a lot of times we're standoffish. I'm okay. I'm
Oh,
good.
yes.
I'm good. No.
Blind dates.
Thank
yeah.
you. And I had a friend who I worked with,
I know
and
who you're talking about. Oh, by the way, we used to work. That's how we met too. I knew her husband previously, but yeah, we met through work.
yeah, so we
the same job.
build a really good friendship out of that. But I have, and I don't think you know who I'm talking about.
Okay.
So I had a friend who, and maybe you do, but I'm not sure. I had a friend who I thought, oh, she's a really nice person. And my husband had a friend who I thought, he's a really nice guy. And they were both single, and I'm like, why not? Let them meet.
Right.
Now, let me tell y'all, my husband was like, no, he is not with the connecting, because he's like, when they have problems, I don't want to be involved. And I'm like, we're not, we're introducing them. I don't want to be involved. So I'm like, what's his name? I don't want to be involved. So I literally had to like take the initiative, connect them over, and 2 years later, they are still hanging on strong.
Good.
Although they joke and say I'm Christian mingle, because
Oh,
I'm
okay.
Christian, and you know they met through Christian mingle.
Okay.
I'm like, child.
Okay.
But
I also have an introduction story that didn't end so that didn't end so well, and Markeisha knows who I'm talking about. This is the gentleman was someone that I went to school with, and like I said, in school we didn't really have we weren't friends, you know, it was just a acquaintance type of thing. We were in maybe one class together, and so obviously once Facebook came about, everyone started linking up and this and that, and so you know, he was a Christian. Well, appeared to be a Christian. Not to say that he isn't now, but you know, you don't know what people doing outside of in the street.
Sure don't.
Or outside of what you can see, what they put on social media. This was many years ago. I was much younger. Would I do that now? Maybe, maybe not. I would probably investigate a little bit more before I delve into it. But yeah, he appeared to be, you know, a Christian. He was just on the brink of starting his new business. He was working very hard. He chronicled a lot of his, you know, work assignments and things like that. So I know he had a job that he held up. And then we had, I knew someone who was single, and this person, you know, we were about the same age, very inexperienced with dating and things like that. Very good person, very domesticated, you know, very clean. She's a woman of God. She, you know, is very intelligent.
Let's leave it at that.
Okay, we'll leave it at that because we're not trying to identify anyone.
We're
But overall, very good person, you know.
A good woman.
A good woman, yeah, a good woman. Any man would be lucky to have her, and that's honestly and genuinely, I say that.
Yes.
And so I introduced them, but I did let them know, listen, I'm not the hookup person. I'm not Mrs. Love Doctor. I am simply introducing two individuals who I feel would benefit from getting to know each other, and I left it at that. One thing I did do, I did vet him to make sure that he was not in a relationship, i.e., you don't have a girlfriend that you are claiming to be your girlfriend. You're not dating anyone, i.e., I'm here with Kim on Monday, Joanne on Saturday, and Wednesday with whoever else freak there is or whatever. You're not sleeping with anyone, because that's also a form of a relationship.
Yes, it is.
So I made sure that he was totally on the market, no strings attached to anyone, not actively seeing anyone or being sexual with anyone. So that I did do. After he, you know, confirmed nothing was going on, I did introduce them, whatever. Moral of the story, it didn't work, but I think it was just a personality clash. In the beginning, it seemed as if they would have matched, and that's with anyone. Once you get to know the real person, you tend to see, okay, is this something that I can deal with or is it not? And they weren't able to make it work.
Right.
And, you know, their relationship status now, I think he's married now. She isn't. But yeah, be open to, that was my whole point.
Right.
Be open to being introduced to others.
Right, and that goes back to the point we made, because you never know. They learned that they weren't a match. Your couple learned that they weren't a match. My couple, they're still going pretty strong.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, you think, good job.
Yeah.
So ultimately, you have to take chances, right?
Oh, yes.
And so now this one is, I think, where me and Stacey's opinions differ.
Okay.
So sometimes you have to take that initial step, and
as the woman.
Yes, as the woman. Now, you know, I am pro that a man should approach me. I am not going to approach a man.
Okay.
And I know Stacey has said sometimes it's okay if you like somebody and you try to get their attention a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, I thought you were saying the opposite. I thought you were going to say that I would say allow the man to approach you all the time. Okay.
So I know you feel that. I want you to approach me. You know, the most I might do is give a little eye contact, but I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to, you know, step to you. I want you to do it to me. So I know we differ in opinions with that.
Well, yeah, I do agree that a woman should be in the position for a man to obviously notice that she's interested in him so that he can feel more comfortable. Not all men are that bold where they're just like, okay, I'm gonna go holler at this female. I like her, whatever, checking her out. I'm just gonna go for it. Not every man is like that. Some men, they need to know for sure that there's something, there's a spark, there's a possibility that you will not reject them. It is a number thing, you know, we all get rejected and it's okay, but eventually if you keep going, you will find someone to say, okay, you know, it's cool. But interestingly enough, I was at Waffle House the other week, and I was just, you know, I'll be watching. I was going to the outside. They, you know, due to the pandemic, they take the to go orders outside.
Yeah.
So I'm outside and, you know, I'm just watching my back, basically.
People watch,
yeah, people watching, but watching my back, because I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, I don't want nobody to roll up on me. But
that's the hood side.
That's the hood side. You gotta watch your back. But as I was watching, you know, my surroundings, I noticed this young lady. He was a young guy was there. He was ordering. Actually, he was picking up his order. He was very attractive, but you know, you could tell he a little hood. But from his conversation with the older woman, his food was wrong. I'm sorry, you guys. Sometimes I take the long route
around.
Because it was interesting. And I could tell his character. He would be someone that, you know, I wouldn't mind my child dating. You know, when he gets a little grown. But yeah. So his food was wrong, and so the woman, she was, you know, an older woman, Jamaican woman, and she was like, oh no, we gave you the right food or whatever. And he was like, ma'am, like I wouldn't be lying over no $5 food or whatever. But basically how he handled that situation, he didn't go off on her. And mind you, he has like the little twisties in his hair. You know, he had like basketball shorts. So from his appearance, you know, some people would
give you what you would have expected.
Or, you know, not necessarily, but you know, he would have already been prejudged by others based off his appearance. But how he handled it, I was like, wow, you can tell like he respects elderly or older people. So I was like, okay, I could tell he's a good young man or whatever. And so he was walking, she eventually fixed it. He was walking back to his car. As he was walking out, a young lady was walking out of her car. But I noticed it was like some interaction with them. I was like, oh, this is how these young girls do it now? The girl walked out of her car and she had on her little tights. You know, y'all wear them tight shorts. We used to call them biker shorts. Y'all act like y'all just made up outfits and stuff nowadays. But yeah, she was walking out with her biker shorts and like she was looking at him, but like smiling, like flirtatiously smiling. And I was like, oh, something about to happen here. Because I was like, oh wow, like he gave her eye contact. She smiled at him and she kept walking to get her food and he went to his car. And so, of course, I'm leaning and I'm looking like side-eyeing it. And she eventually went back to her car. And so she got in and a friend was there. She's just giggling. I said, oh, something about to happen. So eventually the boy came out of his car and he was like sort of looking for her to see where she go because he didn't see the car.
Now, I like that.
And so he pretended to go into the Waffle House to go use the restroom so that if she was still there, she would see that he's still around or whatever. So he went inside, and then like a minute or two, he came out. And as he was coming out, the girl came out of her car to meet him. And so like they connected, they talked. She went by his car to talk or whatever. I'm assuming they exchanged telephone numbers or something. But I was like, oh, that's how it goes down in 2021. So that brings me to the point like, okay, sometimes, you know, you have to show, you know, someone, that you're interested in them, even with a little flirty smile, a little, you know, something, but to show the person that you are interested will help them to approach you.
Now I could agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm just not I'm going to approach you to say,
what's up?
Hey, how you doing? You know, I think you're nice. Look like that's not my style.
Me
now I may smile at you, you know, I might move the hair a little bit, you know, you got a little walk on a little bit, but that's about as far. Well, that was as far as I went, you know, because again, off the market.
But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, it opens the criteria, or it opens, you know, your chances of possibly finding someone.
Right.
You know, and putting yourself out there is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And maybe, you know, just be open to different cultures sometimes, you know, because a lot of times we're looking to stay within the same culture. Stacey, culture.
Okay. Haitian for Haitian, Spanish?
Yes, culture.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to step out of your culture a little bit
That's true.
to find someone, because you may find a kindred spirit. You may find someone you love. My husband is Haitian. I'm American. I'm Black American. We mesh well.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it has been some time, but we mesh really well. So stepping outside of cultural boundaries sometimes help you.
What do you think about racial boundaries now?
I say what works for you works for you. Now, for me, I wasn't necessarily interested in stepping out of racial boundaries. But again, I am attracted to Black men.
Mm-hmm.
That is who I've always been attracted to. So that is very difficult for me. However,
Mm-hmm.
in today's market, I may have had to revisit that.
True.
And because remember, I think it's what they say, like 7-1, 7 women to 1 man.
Yeah,
so
like
imagine
that.
within the Black community, it's probably less than that, right? Factoring in other circumstances as well.
What? It's more
women
yeah.
to men.
Yeah.
And I'm saying especially within the Black community. And when I say Black, I'm encompassing all Black people.
Diaspora.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's probably less than that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you eventually want to be, married or whatever, you may have to explore other options, and you might be surprised.
Sure.
I might go find, for me, if I wasn't married and I could not, date a Black man, I think the next thing for me would be a Latin man.
Mm-hmm.
I need that culture.
That
I need that swag. So that would be my next
Some melanin somewhere. A light-skinned melanin or something. You got some African in you.
Come on.
Yeah, and I agree. I prefer Black men, Black men. My husband is same culture as I am, Haitian. And I've really never dated anything outside of Haitian. And that's cool,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to. My husband was there. So, but yeah, I would have been open to other cultures as long as they come from, a good family, a good background, obviously that they have the same religious beliefs as I do and the same morals and values that I do. It's good people in every culture, it's bad people in every culture. Our whole point in talking to you all is to make sure that it's because we want you to find a good person and a good person that fits you, who helps you, who's your partner, who's compassionate,
yes.
Who's loving towards you, and who is, going to try to put the work in for you.
That you can build with and
Absolutely.
continue to grow. Because that's ultimately what it is. We want to build a family, build a relationship, build a friendship so that we can continue this lifelong journey that we're on, in happiness.
Oh yeah,
not in misery, because no one wants to be miserable for.
I could do bad all by myself. Hello. So basically, that's today's discussion. We want you all to please comment below. Tell us some of your horror stories when it comes to dating, whether it's on the apps, whether it's on some other social media.
Whether it's break down the app for us.
Yeah.
Break them down.
Yeah.
Tell us the different apps. What's good apps? What's bad apps? Because I hear some of them are good and some of them are just for like hookups, and then some you can find actual partners.
Right.
So share that with us.
Yeah, share that with us. Just share your dating stories, horror stories. If you're a married woman, tell us how did you meet your husband, or how did your husband meet you? How long you've been married. Share as much as you would like, but we definitely want to hear from you all.
Yes.
Please also send us any topics that you want us to discuss. We're so open to it. And eventually we want to expand. We'll be having special guests, and it's regular people, not necessarily experts in anything. Sometimes we may have that, but we know we're regular people, so we want to share what we know or what we've experienced, from educationally or just personally, and try to empower and uplift other people, both men and women. And for the men out there, please feel free, share your stories. Let us know what you all are looking for. Yeah, comment. What are you looking for in a woman? What do you prefer a woman to step to you? Do you prefer her to step to for you to step to her?
Because who knows?
Yeah,
you might meet somebody in the comment section.
Hello, for real. So, but we want to just thank you all for watching. Thank you all for supporting us.
Yes.
Please like, comment, share, and most definitely subscribe.
Yes.
We want to give you all great information, great content. We'll be probably dropping a video bi-weekly for now, is what we agreed, right?
Yes, bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly for now, and then we're going to have some special treats here and there,
Yes.
you know, on our travel adventures. You may see us, you know, somewhere Bora Bora, you know, doing this. Who knows? Who knows where we'll be when we record. But come along with us. Come along for the ride.
So again, thank you for joining Let's Talk, and let's see what we'll be talking about next time.
Bye.